Hey folks, happy Saturday morning rants. What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about what everybody else want to talk about. I want to talk about Donald Trump. But I don't want to talk about Donald Trump the way y'all want to talk about Donald Trump. I want to talk about Donald Trump because y'all is a bunch of motherfucking hypocrites. And that's what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about the right, the political right, that suddenly feels like our criminal justice system is the most unfair thing in the world. When a motherfucker been beating that drum for like 2.5 decades, and they like, well, you know, our justice system works, it just needs to be tweaked, especially as it affects the people I care about. I ain't mad at that, but like, let's point to the hypocrisy of like now where you're like, we need to tear the whole fucking system down. So you believe in democracy, you believe in justice, you believe in the rule of law, but as soon as your mans and them get in trouble, you want to tear some shit down, as opposed to being like, yo, this is a revelation that there's parts of the system that don't work. First of all, you can't tear the shit down. You can't have a democracy without a justice system. And every time you say you want to weaken a pillar of our democracy, in this case, the justice system, all you do is really point to the hypocrisy of America. And so you're not even on message and shit. Like, it just don't even, maybe you are on message now. Maybe this is where you want to be. But the point is, you sound like a fucking hypocrite, because even when y'all was partnering with the left to do criminal justice reform, you were barely willing to go beyond forfeiture and some other regulatory shit that you felt was unfair. Maybe some drug shit. But now you like the whole fucking system don't work. And you sound like a fucking hypocrite. But the folks on the left, which I think I get to criticize even more because I believed in their bullshit for so long. Y'all sound like fucking hypocrites too, because literally I remember doing criminal justice reform. It's been 24 fucking years. And I remember in the beginning when we couldn't get y'all to have courage around much of any fucking thing except non-violent first-time drug offenders who are in prison for marijuana. Fuck out of here. Fucking marginal bullshit. But couldn't get y'all to weigh in on shit. And then at least got y'all to be like, yo, language matters. I remember Eddie Ellis, before he died, got y'all to at least believe that the way you refer to people who've been in prison is the first step towards humanizing them. And y'all like, oh yeah, you should talk about them as people, uncles, aunts, musicians, fathers, brothers, sisters, grandmothers, grandfathers, as a way to remind people that people in prison are fucking human beings. And then last week, y'all the first motherfuckers to be like, oh yeah, Trump's a felon, a felon, a felon. Y'all some fucking frauds. Like, who the fuck needs y'all as allies when the minute you see a reason to embrace our criminal justice system, you suddenly not an ally no more. You suddenly the same fucking monster we fighting against. And regardless how the fuck you feel about Trump, how you feel about his case, how you feel about the charges, how you feel about the conviction, how you feel about the judge, how you feel about the jury, how you feel about the jurisdiction, how you feel about the politics, like, you gotta show up as yourself all the time. That's the thing. That's why we don't really have a real criminal justice reform movement. We just have a bunch of bitch-ass niggas, like, living off the trough of philanthropy on an issue that they didn't even help build, and then being a fucking hypocrite the minute the criminal justice system does some shit that you love. So suddenly the very system you say you hate, that you know disproportionately affects black and brown and poor people, suddenly you love that shit because it convicted Donald Trump, and you want to be able to yell that he's a felon. You could do that, that's your right, but you're a fucking hypocrite. And you ain't lending yourself to no criminal justice reform movement. You just carving out a fucking career and being the same emotional fucking piece of shit like most fucking people who believe in this justice system that is inequitable, unfair, disproportionately punitive, lacks fucking restoration. Like, you just, like, at least fucking admit who the fuck you are, yo. That's the thing. Like, I'm okay. This is why I fucks with people no matter who they are and what their politics are, because I just fuck with people who are honest about who the fuck they are. The people I don't fuck with are the people who are full of shit, and you one way and one day the next day. And a lot of y'all are like that. That's what's so fucking disappointing about this life. That's the most disappointing thing about this life, is that there's so many people who are different on different days depending on what the fuck they want from someone else. And the criminal justice reform movement is full of y'all motherfuckers. Like, y'all be the first person talking about y'all want to teach trauma-informed care. You haven't even dealt with your own fucking trauma. You living in that shit. Living in it. And you know what's crazy? Everybody around you fucking knows it. And if you're in a position of power and you have access to money and resources, they just don't fucking tell you. They come into the meeting and they smile in your bitch ass face, and then they go in the fucking hallway and they be like, yo, I can't believe I gotta work with this nigga. I can't believe I gotta work with this bitch. I can't believe I gotta deal with their trauma oozing out all over the fucking place. I can't believe that the minute they don't get their fucking way, they turn into the same fucking monsters they say they hate. Yeah, that's who the fuck y'all are, and people know it. They know it. Like, they see right through you. The hypocrisy of people is the worst fucking part of the criminal justice reform movement, period. Like, be who the fuck you are. That's the thing. Like, this is why people be like, yo, I can't believe you talk to that dude. I can't believe you deal with that person. Yeah, I deal with people who are fucking real about who they are. I like to fucking, like, that's who the fuck I was in the streets as a young person. Like, I was fucking with people that was doing some crazy shit. Half of them are dead now, but at least you knew who the fuck they were. Like, they weren't faking it. They wasn't on some fake bullshit. Put on a fucking suit and a tie and try to get people to fucking believe everything you say. And the truth is, like, behind the scene, like, you something else. Be to something else. That's the thing I'm saying. Like, be to something else. In some ways, you being the complicated, confusing, trying to figure it out, sloppy, messy something else is better than you being this fake motherfucker up here trying to convince everybody that you out here doing good work, when the truth is you're not even dealing with your own shit. And then it ends up coming out anyway, or it comes out and it fucking hurts people around you, and they don't have the power, the privilege, the access, the resources to speak out loud on that shit. But they know who the fuck you are. That's what I want. Did I talk about Trump? I guess I talked about Trump, but y'all know what I'm really talking about. I'm talking about, like, the hypocrisy of the criminal justice reform movement. And let me go in further on that while I'm on it. Because this week I had 2 meetings with 2 people who are directly impacted, who are trying to build really important work projects, campaigns, programs to try to help people involved in the criminal justice system. And y'all know, like, we ain't on no decarceration shit no more. Most of y'all done gave that shit up. We right back where the fuck we were 24 years ago, because we dropped the fucking ball. And folks who believe in our criminal justice system as it is are winning the fucking ideological and narrative debate on these issues. So we back where we were 24 years ago. 24 years ago, I was running the National Hire Network at the Legal Action Center. Hire stands for Helping Individuals Reenter Through Employment. Because that's all the fuck we thought we could accomplish back then. You know? Change the way you talk about people in prison and try to get rid of some barriers to jobs for people with criminal records. Because there was no movement, there was no nothing. That's what the fuck we thought we could achieve. And now we right back there. And so you got people trying to do work, important work, you know? Maybe not the kind of work people said they were doing 5 years ago, but definitely the kind of work people were doing 20-something years ago, and maybe that's all you can achieve. And of course in the South, that's all you probably could ever fucking achieve. And I sat with them to have a consultation and just give them some pro bono advice. And in the middle of those conversations, all you could hear was them talking about the politics of the criminal justice reform space, and how there's like 10 formerly incarcerated people that have risen to the heights of leadership and are serving as fucking gatekeepers to philanthropy, and literally telling formerly incarcerated people in the field that if they want access to philanthropy, they got to go through them, and they got to be parts of the coalitions they want them to be a part of. How the fuck are you any different than the people you say you don't like? Like, now that you have access to power, first of all, you don't really have access to power and privilege. You're just a lapdog. Like, literally, you are the fucking anointed, magical fucking Negro that's chosen to get a few $1 million to keep the other Negroes at bay. That's who you are. Let's start there. And second of all, the nerve of you to tell up and coming second benches of leadership which you should be making room for, because there is no movement unless you have fucking second and third benches of leadership, that they somehow can't have access to philanthropy if they don't go through you. Y'all know who these people are. That's the other thing. I know some of y'all are listening to me, and y'all are the ones who know who these people are, and I know you scared because you think they only told you that they would destroy your career if you don't go through them, that if you did something disrespectful, they would make sure philanthropy doesn't give you money, that if you launched a campaign that was in competition with their work, that they would make sure you never work in this space again. I know y'all hear it and you're scared because you think it's just you, but it's not just you. And all it really takes is the courage of more than one person to come out and be like, yo, this is what happened to me. This person said I can't, this person, Susan, Michelle, Mark, whatever, said I can't come into this space and I can't have access to philanthropy unless I go through them, or they've been here longer than me and they're OG, and so therefore I gotta go through them. This ain't the streets. Fuck these people. Fuck, that's the thing about this criminal justice reform movement. Like, what did Tyson say? Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And people think like, because they in the criminal justice reform space and everyone agrees to behave a certain way, that they could show up like fucking thugs. Don't nobody care? Like, most of us been out in the streets, like, seeing the worst of the worst. Like, y'all just playing this suited up boardroom game. You ain't got to play that shit. Next time somebody tell you you don't have access to philanthropy unless you go through them, tell them you will punch them in the fucking mouth. I'm sorry. Like, I know we supposed to be do-gooders and we not supposed to be talking about violence, but it is fucking violent to tell a person they can't have access to the resources they need to help people that are sitting in prison cells because you got this big fucking ego and you've been on CNN and MSNBC and you feeling good about yourself and you want to make sure you keep that shit on lockdown because you come from this fucking scarcity, poverty fucking mindset, and if somebody else gets access to resources, somehow you fucking don't, and it's a zero-sum game. Fuck you. I wish a nigga would step to my face with that type of shit. I wish a nigga, I'm glad I'm not in this criminal justice reform movement anymore, because I don't know if I would have ever learned these lessons, but one lesson I learned is to be who the fuck I am. Fuck all of y'all. White, black, I don't give a fuck who you are. Some of y'all be trying to act like fucking thugs in this space because you have access to the Ford Foundation and MacArthur and Arnold Van. Who gives a fuck? Where I come from, who gives a fuck? Especially when you've had nothing and you've had a lot. And I've been in both places. I've been fucking poor as fuck, walking to work fucking hour and 15 minutes in the morning because I don't have $2.50 to get on the fucking train. And then I've had enough money to give away $200,000 to philanthropy a couple of years ago. I've been everywhere and in between. And you know what I've come to learn? None of that shit matters. None of that shit matters. What matters is what the fuck you believe in and what people are going to say about you when you're dead. And half of y'all, when you're dead, people are going to say the worst about you because they say it about you now. They may not say in the board meetings where they shake your hand and they shake their head yes and they tell you they feel good about you and they give you little awards at your ceremonies. They don't fucking like you. I'm telling you, they don't fucking like you. Why? Because you're not authentic. You know who the fuck y'all are. You're not authentic. You try to crush other people. You try to erase other people. You try to cancel other people. You part of the fucking mob. You leading the fucking mob. You saying your trauma has been dealt with and you ain't deal with shit. You living in your fucking trauma. And the only reason you made it to where you are is because you're willing to spill your trauma out every time you get a microphone so that progressive fucking white people can assuage their guilt by giving you money so that you keep the rest of these niggas away from them. Damn, I thought I was gonna talk about Trump today. Anyway, I'm done. I got that off my chest. This Saturday is fucking beautiful. The sun is shining. I'm gonna drive upstate a little bit, probably take a little hike, maybe go on the water, have something good to eat, hang around with people I fucking care about, and keep trying to do good work. In the meantime, don't let nobody steal your rainbow. Peace.